All right. Good to go.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Adrian Francis here in Essex in the UK, and we're very fortunate tonight, or wherever you are, if you're in the US, good morning, to have Mr. Paul Stowers, who's the diamond distributor with Avini Health out in Michigan, out in the States. May I ask everyone if you could mute, please? So Paul is going to run through with us today the Avini Health business opportunity. So
I think you're back, Adrian.
I can't hear anything, Adrian.
can you hear
Oh,
anything now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So we should be all good to go, Paul.
All right. All right. Well, hey, appreciate your patience here as we work through a few little technical glitches, but it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Adrian, for putting this together. Just by way of introduction, as Adrian said, my wife and I live in West Michigan. My history with Avini Health, a company we want to present in our products to you today, and the opportunity about 4 years ago, before Avini was ever thought of, I got introduced to what we now know as our flagship product, Cell Defender, which we're going to talk about here tonight a little bit. It was our biochemist was selling his products through other companies throughout his history of develop. He's developed many products, hundreds of products, nutritional supplements that have done billions of dollars in sales for over the past 30 plus years. He's a drug creator in the pharmaceutical world, but he always sold his products to other companies. And so I got introduced to this product that removes heavy metals and toxins. I got a phone call saying, "Hey, what do you? I got this great opportunity," and I really at the time wasn't thinking about an opportunity. Although I've built fairly sizable organizations in the industry before, I'm very familiar with the industry. But I said, "Hey, but for me, as I've gotten older, the first thing that I always ask before I consider the opportunity is I've got to believe in the products." And I said, "So what's your product?" And so he starts sharing what the product does, and we'll talk further about that. But basically, I said, "Well, that I'm interested in." So he sent me a short video by our biochemist that explains the product. He sent me a couple clinical studies, and then the following week, I heard our he's no longer our vice president. He's still one of the founding members of the company, still a large shareholder, distributor. Now he actually went back in the field, and I heard his testimony, Doug Dickey, share about how this product really gave him his life back, that he really only almost did not make it. And I said, I'm in, I'll take the product. And I had some health issues myself that were a cumulative 3+ years worth of symptoms that were getting worse, having met with my doctor. And I basically get on this product, and within 90 days, my body got back to a place where it could heal itself. And the symptoms that I was progressively having and getting worse, that was pretty serious health concerns, have not shown up in the last 3.5 years, 4 years since I started taking this product, and then other products that we have. And so for me, that was between the clinical studies, which I believed in what the product would do, and then of course having my own testimony. My wife and I just got excited about the product, and we started sharing it. And because of that and how effective the product was in helping people, we started to build a business. Well, that business went away for various reasons. And so then the product got moved to another company. My wife and I were like, well, we were, let's follow the product. We're going to follow this wherever it goes. And so then it went, and then that company in 6 months went out of business. And finally, this would have been December, January of 2022. The biochemist was like, all right, I'm done. All right, I'm not gonna go through this process with these companies, these narcissistic, egotistical owners, and dealing with, just they just didn't care really at the end of the day too much about the product as long as they could make money, and it was just a mess, right? So he didn't want to start a company. It's really not wasn't his gifting, and we're like, but we've got couple thousand customers at that time taking the product, that it really saved their lives, gave them their life back. And we're like, you can't stop selling it. And so he says, well, if you can talk our CEO today, back then out of retirement, who was playing tennis 7 days a week, who ran large organizations in his past, like Eckert Drugs and Revco and these big companies, to run the company, he says, I'd consider it. So they decided to put a company together. And in May of 2022, they launched Avini Health. And so I was one of the original distributors that was invited to be a part of that initial leadership team to help launch the company. And now that was what, almost 3.5 years ago, give or take, or coming up on 3.5 years. And we have thousands of distributors throughout the United States and in Canada. And we opened up the UK here several months ago through the leadership of Adrian and his wife. And they have their own amazing testimony and reasons for helping this get started and grow throughout the rest of the world. And so that's kind of brings us to what you're going to hear about tonight. So if you're a guest, if you're new, whether you're in Canada, the US, or the UK, which is where we currently operate in our company, thanks for joining us. I would encourage you, if you have any questions, to get back with the person who invited you to the presentation to get all your questions answered. The thing you'll hopefully connect with tonight on is our passion about a problem that has really captured. I think if you start talking to people out there and you start to understand this whole toxicity environment we live in, where we talk about really detox, defend, thrive, a path to wellness and opportunity, the buzzword is out there, but what you're going to find is that when we use the word detox, it's a lot more unique in how we do that to anybody else in the marketplace. And so it's much more effective. It's much more, it really, really, truly is something that, again, no one else has. And that's what makes it special. And so that's what we want to share tonight. But the big buzzword is toxicity. But kind of the outline we're going to talk about is the marketplace of this health epidemic of toxicity and cost to humans. I've already shared a little bit about who our owners are in Avini, but we're going to talk a little bit more of who we are. And then we're going to talk about kind of the core fundamentals, getting your body back into a position where it can heal itself with these products that Avini has put together that are unique and no one else has. And when you do that, when you help people build a quality life, where their body then can now do what it was designed to do, we can thrive physically and financially. And that's another aspect. And we use distributors to get our products to the market. We'll talk briefly about that. And then we'll talk about where you fit in and how you can get started if you choose. So that's kind of the quick outline. But this health epidemic, I always like to start off with this as the main topic. What are we taught? What have you been taught for better health? I'm 56 years old. So when I was a kid growing up, at least in the States here, we were taught to eat the right foods, take your supplements, because we knew the soils didn't have the nutrition that was there 50 years ago, right? Got to supplement the nutrients. Get your exercise. What are some of the other things? Drink good quality H2O, stay hydrated, get good sleep, get some good vitamin D, and do these things and the bad things in moderation, and you'll live a good quality, healthy life. The question though is that if we're doing all the correct things, why? And because at least my age bracket, and even in the 30s and 40s and 60s and 70s and beyond, if people in my space, my people I know a lot of people who have done all the right things, but still get the bad report from the doctor. They still end up getting the bad things we don't want to have. And why is that if we've done all the correct things? Well, there's a reason that I've come to conclusion that is the undercurrent to the problem that we face today. Now, we're not talking about a panacea, but we are talking about an epidemic problem that we have a solution for, and then the body can then restore itself. So what I also like to ask people as a setup question is currently, if you think about the things you're doing, if from a nutritional supplement standpoint, if you take supplements, if you could only afford one nutritional supplement to help support your body for maximum health, what would that product be? I'm going to, whatever you might say that is right now, for those that aren't familiar with our products and especially our core product, at the end of this, I'm going to challenge that thinking that at the end of this, I can tell you that the number one product that I believe, no matter before anything else we do, everybody needs our flagship product, Cell Defender, before anything else. And there's a reason for that, and we'll share that in a second. But one of the inescapable things that we can't get away from in society today, unlike 50 plus years ago, before the industrial age hit and started to take off in the 50s and 60s and accelerate from there, is we can't escape the toxins in our environment. We can't escape it in the air, the water, the food, our work environments. Our world is polluted to a level to where these toxins are now interfering with normal cellular mechanisms like protein synthesis and metabolism. They're known to cause changes to our DNA over multiple generations. So it's epigenetic. It's being passed on. And I have a case in point to prove that it's being passed on here shortly. But the point is that it's inescapable. According to the National Institute of Health, there are over 70,000 known chemicals in our world today that didn't exist 50 years ago. So think about that for a second. Over 70,000 chemicals. I think in the U.S., the FDA, and I don't have exact stats on this, it's close, but they've only evaluated where they've studied for safety of, I think, 5,000 of those chemicals. There's 70,000. So every time we breathe, eat, drink, or touch something, we are potentially consuming toxins and poisons from our environment. And our bodies weren't designed to take in all these toxins. We're big filters, right? We're breathing, we're eating, we're touching things. We're absorbing into our body at a rate that our bodies was not designed to take in. And again, these are endocrine disruptors. They get in the way of the body's ability to heal itself. There's a great video that I won't take time to play here, but it's called, I would encourage you, if you haven't seen it, have the person advise you to watch a short video. It's about 4.5 minutes long, 5 minutes long, called Your Journey to Better Health. This lays out everything and then some about what I'm sharing about toxicity in the environment. But again, for sake of time, I'll skip this. But here's some things I want to point out from articles, and these are just a few of the articles that I have stacks and stacks and stacks of articles. If you start to really pay attention to the headlines of the daily news, you'll see articles daily anymore of studies and research that's come out to support the fact that we are overloaded with toxins. Here's one. In Moms Across America did their own research on all of the fast foods, at least, again, this is the United States, but I'm assuming it's a worldwide problem. But in 2023, they found that every fast food, didn't matter which restaurant that they tested, food from those restaurants tested positive for heavy metals, lead, and cadmium at rates greater than we should be consuming. So think about that. Everyone, not like, okay, well, there's a couple good things you could eat here. It was every fast food restaurant. Another article I came across: flame retardants and cancer. This was a CNN this was 2024, April 1st, but they found flame retardants in thousands of consumer products linked to cancer in people for the first time. See, they're starting to do the research of finding out that these flame retardants. In fact, I only have a frame of reference for the U.S. and I know this doesn't follow too far behind a lot of the rest of the world, but in the United States, every article of clothing for children under 6 years old they've laced it with flame retardants. And so now these young kids are wearing these clothes and absorbing these flame retardants that's been linked to cancer. I mean, and this is just one of the thousands, right? Even elevated sports drinks, right, have elevated toxic. So a lot of your drinks that we drink were found to have toxic metals. Artificial turf. Here was an interesting article. All the new beautiful playgrounds and athletic fields that we're putting this artificial turf on what our children are playing on. Well, come to find out, they did some research and those playgrounds are toxic. Those kids are kicking up all this toxic dust and they're taking it in, they're breathing it in, and it may look beautiful, but it's a toxic playground. They found in supplements many contain heavy metals. And this is the article I was talking about how this is being passed on epigenetically. They found the Environmental Working Group in 2005 found the pollution in newborns. They did umbilical cord studies and they found over 200 heavy metals and toxins being passed from the mother to the child through the umbilical cord. So the mother's passing on these toxins to our children so that they already their immune systems are already compromised. These endocrine disruptors are there. You know, think about one statistic alone before I get into this. Think about kids on the spectrum, autism, okay? Back in the early 70s, early 80s, there was about 1 in 10,000 children at birth that would have the challenges of autism or kids on the spectrum. And it's not a disease, so I can use that name. Today, they say now that same statistics about 1 in 34. So it went from 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 34. They're saying in the next 5 to 10 years that could collapse to about a 1 to 2 ratio. That every other child potentially in the near future could be a child on the spectrum at some level to the a level of autism. What has changed in the last 40 or 50 years to cause that? There is something that's causing that, and my own research has pointed to toxicity. But here, don't believe me. Dr. Rashid Buttar, he's the vice chairman of the American Board of Medical Toxicology, said in his research in 2023 said that every chronic insidious disease process is related to one word, toxicity, leading to $4.8 trillion here in the United States of healthcare costs. If we could get rid of that one thing in society of toxicity, we could save almost $5 trillion. That's a huge market, right? That's a huge problem. It's massive. It's of epidemic proportion. And I think if you talk to people and you start asking them and just general questions about what they think about the environment, the air we're breathing, the water we're eating, I think a lot of us kind of innately understand it's just more toxic than it is today than it was many years ago. But what people are where they're missing the disconnect is how it's affecting them in their health. And so what our job is to help them say, hey, there's Houston, we have a problem and it's of epidemic proportion. But thankfully there's a solution. And that's what we want to talk about tonight. There's a company called Avini Health that, as I said, launched in May 1st of 2022. Debt-free, profitable, 3+ year-old company with an executive team with over 100 years of experience in natural health and wellness and direct sales in the direct sales industry. When I started, I was in a 6,000 square foot manufacturing facility in Plantation, Florida. We thought we would be in that facility for the first 2, 3, 4 years. We outgrew it in our first year. We then expanded our operations to Boca Raton, Florida, to 20,000 square feet. And just this past spring, we added on another 15,000 square feet. So now we're in a close to a 35,000 square foot FDA regulated CGMP certified manufacturing facility where our company Avini Health does all the manufacturing. We don't outsource anything. We bring in the raw ingredients that are certified ingredients, and then we do our own third-party ingredient certification. So everything has its own COA. We do all of the product. Rick Deitch, our chief science officer, one of the owners of our company, does all the product design and development, and then we manufacture it, and then we ship it. Now, the cool part about that is and what we call that is that's called being fully vertically integrated. It allows us from a supply chain standpoint that, when we have these products that are changing lives, we don't have to worry about disruption in shipments because we're dealing with a third party company who's manufacturing and hopefully they're doing good projections and keeping raw materials in. We have enough product and product built, raw ingredients and product built on our shelves. We could last about 6 months without any new product or any new ingredients coming in. So even if we have a shortage in some product where we have, which all of it's sourced in the United States, but even if we couldn't get a product for a while, we would never miss the shipping to our customer because we control that. And we've never had a pay increase in the last 3.5 years. I don't know about you, but where we live, cost of living has gone up in the last 3.5 years. Prices of goods have gone up, but not with Avini Health. Our prices are the same from 3.5 years ago as they are today, with no future projected increases because we control the cost, because we don't outsource anything. And I want to spend a little bit of time on that because it's very important that at the age we are as a company, being debt free, positioned for growth in the future, the timing to be a part of this, you'll see at the end, we are at the perfect time to be a part of something like this to help build a company because we have everything in place foundationally to build a huge company because we control that whole experience. All right, so that's the company that's behind what we're doing, but let's get into this detox and defend. Let's talk about a flagship product. Now, there's a product here, this first one, and again, there's a video you can request that our biochemist goes and breaks down all of these products, probably way better than I could ever break it down. So if we can get you that video or videos, we have tons of resources, articles, science article, whatever you need but I want to spend a little bit of time on this first product and then just give you an overview on our other products that we have. But Cell Defender was that product that we with Detoxolite that I started taking 4 years ago. So what is Cell Defender? Cell Defender is a natural mineral found in nature. It's actually a rock. It's where volcanic ash hits seawater and crystallizes and creates this cage-like structure called zeolite. Now, there's over 50 different types of zeolite in the market, in the world, not the marketplace, the world. But this particular one has a negative charge to it and a really interesting, in nature, it kind of cleans the environment. Just so happens that all the bad things for us have a positive charge, and the zeolite has a negative charge with this cage-like structure. So it has a propensity to draw into it these bad things that we don't want to breathe in or consume into this cage-like structure. The problem is the raw mineral in nature is already full of toxins that it's brought in while it's out in nature, right? So our biochemist Rick Deitch developed a proprietary process. It's about a 3-day, 34-step process to take and clean out that cage-like structure to make it small enough so it can get inside of our bloodstream and lymphatic system. And then what makes it really unique is that as you consume this product in your body, and this is how hard it is to take it, right? Here's a little bottle. I just took 5 or 10 drops. Right? That's how hard it is. And that gets into your bloodstream and lymphatic system. And it just so happens that the bad things in your body that are floating around in your bloodstream lymphatic system, arsenic, lead, mercury, cadmium, and the likes, and volatile organic compounds, all these different things get absorbed into this product in your bloodstream and lymphatic system. And unlike any other detox product on the market that's going to force your cells to push the toxins into the bloodstream lymphatic system and shove it to the liver, which is going to overwhelm the liver. Remember, the liver already dealt with it the first time because the body's natural mechanism is to try to keep those toxins away from vital organs. So the liver gets overwhelmed. It takes and parks these heavy metals and toxins in your fat cells and bone tissue, bones and other scar tissue. So if you take and eat certain herbs or do certain detoxes, you can force the cells, the body to release that, but it's going to shove it right back to the liver. This, when you take this, it absorbs it into this, all right, sweep. It's going through your bloodstream lymphatic system, and it attracts these bad things inside the cage-like structure. And because the body sees this as dirt when it's in the bloodstream, it sends it to the kidneys because it knows what to do, and out the urine channel. It goes out a different pathway. It actually takes pressure off your organs, the liver and the kidneys, and gets rid up to 15 times. By taking this product, you're going to help your body get rid of these toxins up to 15 times more than what your body's able to do. And that's been clinically proven that we have the only clinical research on this product on the market that supports its safety and effectiveness for doing what it's going to do. And here's the bottom line. Bottom line is, before I move on there, the bottom line is that our biochemist says a cleaner, healthier body fixes itself. Here's the real thing. The miracle is not this product. This is just the mineral. All it does is it takes the bad things into it and kicks it out through the urine channel and gets it out of your body. Very gently, safely, effectively, more than anything else out there. Your body then, guess what it does? After the bad things are out of the way, guess what it can do now? It can heal itself. It's the miracle. Your body's the miracle. So when this is I can't, this is not a panacea, right? This is not going to fix everything, but I can tell you this. Going back to Dr. Rashid Buttar, if you could get toxins out of the body, we could save $5 trillion in healthcare costs. That's what this product does. And it's amazing. We have testimony after testimony, thousands of testimonies that are, I mean, we could share personal testimonies, people in our own sphere of influence, just on and on it goes as the body is able to heal itself. So that's our main product. That's our flagship, and it's very unique. Then we have targeted products that we've brought out since the launch of this company that help the body continue to get rid of the bad things, because we have some targeted products that will do that. Because we believe that foundationally, before you do anything else to your health, you got to get rid of the bad stuff, right? You got to get the junk out. If you don't deal with the junk in your body before you start putting good things into it, that's like putting premium gasoline into a Ferrari and never changing the oil. Okay? So the point is that you can do all the good things you want to your body. And this is why I believe that people are still experiencing that bad report from the doctor, even though they've done all the quote unquote right things. So we have to get rid of this. No matter what you're doing, this will make everything work better. Everything. Nutritionally that you're doing, workouts that you're doing, other products you're taking, even pharmaceutical products, everything will work better if you have this product in your body, sweeping the junk out of it, and that's really cool. But then we have a few other products that support that we'll talk about here. But we address cardio and mind and vision and immune support, gut health. We have a hydration product. We have energy and weight management product. And these products, and again, I don't want to get into all of it right now for sake of time, but all of them are all designed to help your body do what it was designed to do. That's all they do, and help your body function at its optimum. And then everything else takes care of itself. And I've seen that over and over again, me personally included, and thousands of other people. This product that we just launched back in March, this Avini Health Balance product, is one of those products that you add to Cell Defender, because this product specifically targets the liver and helping with hormonal balance and getting your liver functioning better. Look, if your organs, your filtration system is functioning at its optimum, everything in your body functions better, right? So when you take Cell Defender and the Plus Balance together, it's a 1-2 punch. This has become our #2 product since we brought it up. We're seeing amazing, amazing things. That came out in March. And then our Trim Simon's meal replacement to go along with our weight management product line. And really we call it weight management because the underlying cause to obesity is toxicity. You got to deal with toxins in your body. If you want long-term weight management, you got to get the toxins out of your body. So our products support that. And then we have this meal replacement that's not just a protein, 21 grams of protein. It's a whey and soy. It's an amazing product with MCT oil support, but it also is a complete meal replacement. So a lot of times you get your proteins, they don't digest well. My wife, who does not have a gallbladder, can't take a lot of protein products in the market. It digests amazingly well. It's a full meal complex, and so it's a real great support. So as we're getting rid of the toxins, if you're needing some weight management, this is a great product. That came out also this past March. As I said, we have thousands of testimonials. There's a website that you can write down called Avini Testimonials. It's again, we do not claim that our products can cure or heal anybody. We believe that your body's the miracle. We just want to get that body back into the position where it can heal itself. But when you go to avinitestimonials.com, you'll see all of our testimonials arranged by health conditions, so you can kind of isolate different testimonies by what people were dealing with by conditions, right? And then you can hear what they did. It's an amazing, amazing site. And there's some great testimonies that can be shared. I know Adrian and Susie have amazing testimony of, I mean, this is really why they're here, because of what this product did for them, saved her life, and just got passionate about, of course, but helping other people. But of course, they're very passionate about helping people with the business and financially and changing their lives as well. And that's where we come into, as we come in for a landing here, about thriving physically and financially. Look, it doesn't take, when you think about opportunity, right? If we help people physically solve problems of this magnitude, do you think that there's possibly an opportunity, if you have something that no one else has, that can bring a solution to that problem? I mean, I already told you, the United States is a $5 trillion toxin problem. If we can deal with toxins in our bodies, we could save a lot of healthcare costs, right? We could save a lot of grief, a lot of pain for people by just simply helping getting that junk out of their bodies with something that no one else has. And when you have something that no one else has and you're first to market, in this case, we're a 3.5-year-old company that has unique solutions backed by science, backed by thousands of testimonials, with a company that's debt-free, fully vertically integrated, does everything. You have an opportunity that there's going to be this huge wealth transfer that will happen for those that participate. Because all we have to do is talk to people and share with them a solution to their problems, and then say, hey, you know what? I'm not trying to sell you a product. I got a solution to a problem. And most people, if you talk to them about toxins in the environment, in their bodies, they probably would agree with you today, unlike any other time in history. And it's so provable that there's a problem. Just Google any sickness and disease you don't want to have. Type in heavy metal toxicity next to the disease name and do your own research. It's not hidden. And we have that solution. And therefore, there's this opportunity. In the United States here, the need for opportunity is also one of those things that go hand in hand, right? You got to have a product. Like I said earlier on, when I first was approached, he asked me, am I interested in opportunity? Of course, I'm always open to new opportunities, but I got to believe in the product. If the product is what it is and it can help people and solve problems, then yes, let me look at your opportunity. Well, hopefully I laid that out there tonight for you all, that we've got a product and products and a company that is solving these problems. Well, now let's talk about the financial problem that people have. 1 in 3 Americans here in the United States have $0 saved for retirement. About 83% of our population have less than $300,000 saved for retirement. But 1 in 3 have zero. So if you think about that for a second, again, wherever you live, cost of living is going up. It's harder to save, right? It's a huge problem for people. And then when you ask people, what are you going to do? How are you going to make up for that? Are we going to work a second job if that's possible? That's linear income. I can only make so much. I only have so many hours in a day. Are we going to start a business and take a lot of risk to start that business and hope it works out and spend 100, 200,000, $500,000 to start that, even if I had it, and then have employees and all the headaches? Most people aren't going to do that. If I have money, right, I can invest it. Well, if you invested here $300,000 into an annuity that paid you 4%, you could make an extra $1,000 per month. Well, the problem there is you have to have the $300,000. Most people don't have that, right? So if I have money, I can make more money, but it's a catch-22. And even there, look at that, 300 grand, even if you got 6% or 8% at a higher interest rate, you're still only talking 1,500, $2,000 a month, and you have to set aside 300 grand that you can't touch that principal. Well, what if there was a way that I could show you in 90 days or less, sharing these products, that we could help you make an extra $1,000 per month at a minimum? Part-time, just helping people, bringing this solution to the I mean, wouldn't that be a blessing to be able to help a bunch of people do that? And that's just the start, and that's what we're talking about. So we basically, as a company, decided the most effective, efficient way to get these products, these nutritional supplements to market was through network marketing, through friendship marketing, relationship marketing, because people have to hear your story and hear other people's stories. If you went into a health food store in your town, wherever you live, and you saw a Cell Defender sitting on the shelf in this white bottle amongst all of the other products, how many people would say, walk by that product and say, oh my gosh, I absolutely have to have this white bottle? Anybody would probably buy that without, but if Adrian came to you and said, hey, Paul, are you familiar with toxicity in the environment? What do you think about what's going on and how it's affecting human health and blah, blah, all this stuff? And man, Paul, I need to tell you about something. I got a solution that's really helping people change their lives, live quality lives, whatever. Let me tell you my story. Let me tell you this. Let me share that. How many more people, if he did that or you did that, people would actually listen and would want to know about this product, right? That's why we use network marketing, because the cool part about networking versus traditional marketing is we take our advertising dollars as a company, and rather than give it to athletes and actresses and spend millions and billions of dollars trying to get our consumer to buy our product, we take that money and we give it to you when you give the company a customer. See, the company and network marketing only trades, okay, their money, their advertising dollars when you do what? When you give them a customer. Isn't that a pretty good deal, right? I give them a customer, they give me a commission. I give them another customer, I get a commission. It's a fair trade. It's equitable, right? But in traditional marketing, they have to spend a lot of money with no guarantee to get a customer. So it's a much better way to get your product to market. It's also, for us out there in the business world, it's a low cost business, and we're going to show you how to get started. In fact, you're just going to buy product at the best price, and you'll have your own business, right? So low risk, right? You set your own hours, and the beautiful thing is you can build what they call residual income. How many people here know what residual income is? I can tell, yeah, Adrian knows. I can't see all your hands, but here's the thing. How many people, if you don't know what residual is, I bet you know what a royalty is. So I'll use the music industry as an example. So yeah, one of my shows I've watched for years is American Idol, and you see these up and coming artists, and you get the Carrie Underwoods now, right, today. But that artist who's headlining a show, who's singing someone else's song that they wrote, okay, they're the singer, they're singing a song that was written by someone else. Who would you rather be, the artist or the person who wrote the song that artist is singing your song? I'm going to tell you, you'd rather be the person who wrote the song, right? Because the artist only gets paid when they sing it, but the person who wrote the song keeps getting paid every time that song gets sung, played on the radio, downloaded on Spotify, whatever. They get a royalty every time while they're sleeping, while they're at the beach, no matter what they're doing, right? That's residual income. How many people would like some of that? Well, here's the thing. If you go out there and simply share products that can change lives with other people, and you want to do that, you don't have to do this, but you want to do that, and you want to build a team of customer gatherers, and you've got a team behind you to support you, to help you share what we're doing. You can build up that extra $500,000 a month in the next 90 days or sooner. You can make a whole lot more than that. You can make lifestyle income that pays you month after month after month after month while you're playing pickleball, which I love to do, while you're taking vacations, while you're spending time with your family. Because guess what? When people buy our products, they continue to buy them month over month over month. I have the data. You get people on our products and they do not stop taking it. Get them on at 30, 69 days. They will see when they have the Avini experience and they just do our products for 30, 69 days. They don't look for ways to get it out of their budget. They look for ways to keep it in their budget. And lastly, it's an unlimited opportunity. If you're working a job right now, do you have an unlimited opportunity? You probably don't. You have some sort of cap on your earnings, right? You can only climb so high up in that company, right? And you're going to cap out at hours you can work, amounts you can make. But you know what? With this on the side, with whatever you're doing, you have unlimited opportunity. There's no cap, and where we're at, this is where I want to get into in a second, but I want to wrap up. I'll wrap up with that thought. But let's talk about how you can get started no matter how you want to start. You want to just be a retail customer. You know what? I see enough value here. I want to just start trying the products. We have a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can get back with the individual who invited you to this presentation and go to their website and buy some product and just get started. But if you're like me and you want to get best pricing, you don't want to pay full retail. That's one of the laws of business is don't pay retail when you can pay wholesale, right? You have an opportunity to buy a one-time activation pack of product that you're going to take anyway, share with your spouse, share with others, certainly take for yourself. And it starts at $2.99, $4.99, $9.99. Doesn't matter which pack of product you buy, but the value of that product just goes up. How much extra product you get for free, and it's a one-time best deal. So you just make that decision. What's the best deal for your budget, for what you want to do, and how much product where you want to start? And when you make that decision and you make that purchase, you are now a lifetime member. The cool part about our company is once you make this purchase, there's no monthly commitments, there's no annual fees, and you can buy wholesale for life. So that's unlike any other company out there. And then when you decide, okay, hey, I love these products, I want to buy these products every month, you as a consumer have the opportunity to put that on an auto ship that you control. And not only do you get wholesale on that, but our company gives you an additional 20% in rebate credits that you can apply for future free products. So it's a great way to buy it if you're going to do it. And if you're doing it as a business, highly recommended that you consider that. But at the end of the day, make this one-time best value purchase and you're in for life with no commitments. I don't know of any other company out there that does that. Usually to buy wholesale for life, you got to buy so much every month. You got to do this, do that. We don't make you do that. All right. So then once you're in, not only did you get your product, right, for that purchase at a one-time best value, but guess what? You have a website, you have a mobile app, you have all the tools at no extra cost to help share these products with others if you choose to do that. And when you do that, you can make retail commissions. You can make customer activation pack commissions. You can You can start making team commission bonuses up to, and I'll say this, up to $160,000 per month. Not promising anybody that's going to, you're going to make 160,000 a month, but let me ask you this question. And a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't make 160,000 a year. I can't imagine ever making that a month." And it kind of seems really out there. Well, here's the thing. Isn't it awesome to have an opportunity? At least you have room to grow. Most jobs cap you out, right? I don't think it's your job. You have a job that says, "Hey, yeah, we're going to keep giving you raises, and someday, you can cap out at 160,000 a month." Probably no jobs out there like that unless you own the business, right? And have all the headaches that go with it. So the cool part is I'm not saying everybody's going to do it, not saying anybody's going to do it, but at least you have the opportunity to do that if that's your desire. But an extra 500 to 1,000 a month, passive income, and then we got bonuses, you got leadership matching bonuses. All this comes included when you simply make that purchase of that activation pack and get a bunch of product. We don't charge you for the business. We as a company believe in saying, "Hey, you just get on our products, see how they work for you and start sharing them, and we'll give you all the tools at no extra cost to build that business." So my encouragement to you is to get all your questions answered. That we're kind of bringing this home here tonight. Look, I'm sure you have some, but hopefully I answered a lot of them and just kind of gave you that 50,000 foot view of where we're at and what we're doing. But just take a minute. If you got a question, get with that person and they'll answer those questions and help you get started. But I want to point out timing of opportunities. See, opportunities don't go away, as you probably heard. They just go to other people. And, a lot of people will say, "Oh, is this one of those things where if you get in first, Adrian, you make all the money?" And I'm like, well, isn't that kind of like all opportunities? I mean, wouldn't you like to have been involved early on with Google stock or, Tesla stock? I mean, we start thinking of stocks, right? I mean, if you get in early, right? Of course, there's more opportunity. Now, you don't want to get in too early because there's a lot of risk, right? A lot of people don't want to get involved because they don't want to take the risk, but they also don't want to get in when the opportunity is kind of where everybody knows about it. That's where your position today. We're 3.5 years old, as I said, debt free, 35,000 square foot CGMA certified FDA facility. On and on it goes. Products that can change lives, right? We're right there, 3.5 years old. 15,000 distributors throughout the US, Canada, and the UK, just getting started in the UK. I'm telling you, guys are in a position. I know we hear this all the time, but trust me, I've been in this industry 35 years. If I could ever communicate that you're in the right place at the right time, now is the time to take action and get on these products. At the very least, get on these products to change your life. But please join us in the crusade. And I'll leave you with this thought. I saw this, but this picture on the right was Mark Zuckerberg, whether we love him or don't love him. But the reality is that he invited 5 people to his room in Harvard to discuss a business opportunity, but only 2 came. Okay, he invited 5 back in 2004. Only 2 came. Today, the 2 that showed up are billionaires with him. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to become billionaires by joining Avini Health, but I am saying don't be one of the 3 that got invited but didn't show up to the meeting, right? You're here tonight. You are here. You are present. You heard what we're doing. Hopefully you catch a little bit of our passion for wanting to get these out there and join us in this crusade of changing lives one person at a time, launching this throughout the UK, Canada, the United States, and then eventually around the world. So I want to thank you for your time tonight. I want to welcome you to Avini. Again, Adrian and Susie, man, what amazing leadership you bring to the company. We're so excited to have you part of what we're doing and the others. I'm telling you, you have no better leaders than them, and we're here to support you. But please, like I said, join us, but get all your questions answered. And thank you for your time tonight. Adrian, did you want to wrap up with anything?
Thank you very much, Paul. I really enjoyed that, and thanks for coming on. I know you're very busy out there, but you always support us, so we really appreciate it. And thank you for everyone who came on tonight. We got a lot of people on the call, so people are getting to hear about this, and they're joining us, Paul, and they're getting excited, which
Awesome.
is fantastic.
Awesome.
Just like to say that in a couple of weeks' time, we're all off coming out to the summit out in Las Vegas, where we're going to learn about 2 new products that are going to be launched. So we're very excited about that. And thanks again, everybody. I'm going to end the recording of this now. And anyone's got any questions, please answer.